rest of that time for them to kind of get hands-on. You want to look back here, this is what we're going to be using for spot report. I'll just kind of have like a grid set up like this. You know, little Army guys, that's basically what they're going to be reporting for the spot report. I mean, it's real simple, but it's just something that they can look at. It's not just kind of nonchalantly in the air, you know. As well for camouflage, I will have everybody at my lane with me as a model, so that way, yes, we can explain, you know, dark on the protruding portions, but it'll be much easier to just have them look at us. Any other questions, you can follow up with me. Now I'll be passing on to, is Delgado here yet? No, Delgado's not here. Okay, then I'll pass it to Cooper. Want to do weapons?
Do you want to?
Oh, he's not.
I only got one here. So I'll just go off of this, I guess. I didn't see where you guys are set up. I don't even need this. So I'm going to be running I'm the AOSC for the weapons lanes. So what we're going to do is we're going to split it up, just like he said, a little bit of instruction for each. But I don't want to do it just like 125-minute block on this, this, and this. Like split the people up a little bit here doing Claymore, some people doing the M4, some people doing the AT4, and just rotate them as we go through the training. That way they're all getting hands-on as much as possible, go over task conditions and standards. And the graders I know that are going to be with me are Campbell and Henry. So I'll probably put you two on like the M4 and the AT4, and I'll do the Claymore, and that way we can roll through it, because I've done Claymore a few times. I don't know if you all have. Okay, yeah. And the same thing for the Georgetown cadets that we'll have with us. We'll just split them up, one with each of us. That way they can see how it's done and they can learn, and we can get into the grading portion after that.
Sweet. So, medical lane, Delgado's not here. Can we skip that until he comes back?
Can you brief medical lane?
I can.
Let's huddle up back up the
We got to clean up.
So, during the medical lane, we'll be broken up into 3 small groups, rotations of 30-minute increments. The first will be care under fire and movement of the casualty. Second will be the control bleeding portion. And then third will be request medical evacuation. Each of these instructions will last 30 minutes, and at the end of 30 minutes, then they'll rotate to the next section. And after each hour and 30 minutes has occurred, then they'll rotate clockwise to, if it's group 1, then it'll go to group 2. Group 2 will go to group 3. Group 3 will then rotate to group 1. That's the end of my portion. I'll be transferring it.
Raise your hand if you're an evaluator for an EIB lane. Is that it?
Donza.
Okay. Campbell, what task are you evaluating?
I haven't been assigned anything yet, but I think that I'll probably be assigned to AT4.
All right, so we have 3 days out from people who are going to be evaluating. They don't even know what tasks are being evaluated on. So that's something that has to be fixed today. So again, Thursday night when we go out there, we're going to do another validation. But if you guys can't properly evaluate the EIB lanes, then you're essentially useless, right, to the operation. We'll find another job for you. Keep going.
All right, so at this point, it's right around 1400. Your MS3s have already finished their range, and they're being transported back by cadre vans up to the TOC, and then up to LZ Falcon right here. All right, at this point, once EIB and all are done, they're also going to form right here. I'm going to be followed by Cadet Mills, who's going to talk about supply plan for issuing M4s to the MS3s.
MS3s will have rubber ducks for land nav. They'll be drawing those rubber ducks when they get their land nav packet. That way, because they have to turn it back in after night land nav, so that MS1s can have it. So they'll just draw their rubber ducks at the TOC when they get their land nav kit. And I will be followed by Cadet Mills. Oh, you need to stay.
At this time, it will begin the day land navigation portion. The lane walkers at this time for land nav are Horn, Lewis, Printup, KD, Toth, Fabrega, Markfelder, and McKee. You're going to meet up at the TOC, link up with Howard's, whoever they've got over there at the TOC running their land nav, whether it be their S3 or if they have somebody else as the OIC of that land nav portion. You're going to meet up with them. They're going to give you your assignment out for land nav. Also at this time, MS3 OCT lane walkers, Menkhaus, Dichoso, Ridenauer are going to meet up at the TOC area and conduct the OCT sync. Following that OCT sync, they're going to go out and mark their 3 patrol base locations so they can find them that night. and also mark the formation site on the north side of the LZ. And that'll conclude the tasks that need to get done during dayland navigation.
During dayland navigation, we're going to have platoon formations for each platoon, MS1 and 2s and MS3s. In the MS1 and 2 formations, we're going to have their MREs laid out. They'll be alongside alongside the TOC. For the MS3 formations, we're going to have their MREs as well as their paintball guns. The MS2s and 1s will get their rubber ducks at a later time. Oh, I will now be passing it off to Cadet Main Cast. Oh, I'm sorry, I read wrong. No, Garrel. I was on the wrong mills. It's okay.
Night land nav, same lane walkers. So the period during the in between the day and night land navigation, all they're going to do is they're going to meet back up at the TOC and wait until sunset at, I think it's 1934, and then at that time they're going to come back and go back out for the night land navigation, same lane walkers, and when they reconsolidate, they're going to draw the weapons and MREs that we have laid out on LZ Falcon. At that time, that'll end the land navigation portion, and the 2s that are assigned to platoon operations have moved to the 3 formation sites on the north side for MS3s, and the 1s and 2s have moved to the south side for the 1s and 2s to prepare for the patrol bases. I'm now going to have the MS3 OCTs talk about their movement to their patrol base, and then the 1 and 2 OCTs talk about their movement to their patrol bases in the night of 5 April.
Okay, so at 2200 at the end of night land nav, we're going to consolidate the MS3s by 1st platoon, 2nd platoon, and 3rd platoon. We are then going to, once we have full accountability, move from the LZ to our patrol base sites. 1st platoon is going to move to here, 2nd platoon is going to move to patrol base 2 here, and 3rd platoon will move to patrol base 3 there. The next morning at 0600 is wake up and stand to. At 0700 we're going to begin our first squad sticks lanes. It's going to go, 1st platoon is going to go from here to the ambush lane. 2nd platoon.
2nd platoon is going to go into movement to contact, and then 3rd platoon is going to go into ring. And each lane is going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. So the timeline will be distributed for 45 minutes planning, 60 minutes of lane execution, 30 minutes of AR, and then 15 minutes of changeover. Lunch will be conducted after lane 2. That'll be an hour-long portion. The changeover, the 15 minutes, will be for OCTs to give their evaluations to their kids that need it.
And after all 4 lanes are done, we'll be moving back to the same patrol bases. So patrol base 1 will be Main House as the lead OCT, patrol base 2 will be me as the lead OCT, patrol base 3 will be changed as the lead OCT. And then further on, we'll evaluate what the MS3s are doing. We might conduct a defense during the night in the patrol base.
Hey, just one thing, especially for you 3, before you pick them up from that LZ Falcon and take them out to your patrol base, make sure you pair up with your OCTs. They're going to be assigned to you at that OCT sync during daytime land.
So, tracking back to 2200 after night land nav has concluded, the MS1s and 2s will gather up here where they will be divvied up into their individual platoon consisting of a 4th platoon as well. In their patrol bases. Their patrol bases will be right inside the wood line, outside of the TOC area. I'll be responsible for patrol base 1 via Captain Doherty at the last car. They will stay tactical. This is not an administrative patrol base, so we're looking for using this as a teaching opportunity to go over the priorities of work as well as TLPs and also maintaining security throughout the night. We'll be assigning the MS1s and 2s leadership positions with MS4 oversight. And if the other 3 patrol bases have anything else to offer, pretty much concludes that portion.
Good. So let's see, you have 1. Who are the other 3 then?
Delgado's 1, Campbell, and Lewis, sir.
Alright, so we're going back to the directing plan for the MS3 tactics. I'll pass out to Cadet Lewis and we'll go over the MS1 and 2 outboard tactics. Okay, so at 04 April 2019, at the
patrol-based operations and an op-4 platoon just north of the talk in the wood line. This will be an actual patrol base that will be conducting MS4s. Will be consistent. They will be actually conducting patrol-based operations. I will brief my op-board for the next day's plan at 05 April that night of. That way we can wake up by 05:30 and movement will start at 06. What will happen is that individual squads. What happened is that they will move out in their individual squads. I have my AOICs, and they'll move out to their movement to contact lanes, raid, attack, and ambush. So like I said, they're moving out in a squad formation to use different lane sites, and then we'll consolidate at 1700, and then we'll conduct further on training for an attack on the patrol bases that night. No more questions. I'll pass it to Lieutenant Lewis. We'll go over the red team plan, op4 for MS-1-2 tactics.
Alright, so I'm the OIC for the op4 MS-2 1 and 2 lanes. When it's time to start operations, there'll be 4 squads. The third squad will be the op4 lane. So at the change of every rotation, the squad that's in that third position will become the op4 unit. They'll meet me here, and at this time I'll have 1 OCT lane walker for each op4 position. So they will take each op4 to their designated location. So there will be an ambush in this general area, react contact or mood contact, and attack. I'll now be passing it on to Macaulay.
On 05 April, LZ Falcon. After completion of patrol-based operations, MS-1s and 2 cadets will then consolidate at LZ Falcon to conduct EIB tasks on confirmation on training of the previous day. It will be incremented in an hour and 50-minute increments in 50 cadets per training area. 5 cadets at a time will be graded in each section. First, I'll be giving it over to Westover to go talk about patrol.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the 3 tasks for patrol. I'll start with the first one with the assemble a radio. This will all need to be completed within 8 minutes, starting with assembling the actual radio, and it'll end with just a simple radio check. Okay, and I have the task conditions and standards. I can pass it on to you guys. For the spot report, this will need to be done within 5 minutes. Now, this is not an add-on to the first task. They will be using radios that are already correctly set up, so it's not going to hurt them if they do not correctly set up the radio. We'll have the radio split in half that way, and they will just need to go line by line, and within 5 minutes conduct a spot. For camouflage, we will only be testing camouflage on the face, so we're not going to be doing back and neck and foliage on their Kevlar, that kind of thing. And they will just need to have that base and neck. Base and neck? Yes. Roger, sir. But they will not have the camouflage helmets flick that kind of thing. And that will need to be conducted within 5 minutes. And as the same way as the instruction portion, all of my graders will be users models again. Okay, Delgado is still not here, so I will you left too? Okay,
Weapons lane. Weapons lane will be split up into 2 sections. Okay, the first 2 graders, which will be Campbell and Henry, will be grading the M4 and AT4 portion. At the completion of that, those 2 portions should take no longer than 3 minutes and 15 seconds. At the completion of those 2 events, if they complete those, if they fail or no-go, then they will go to the Claymore events, which will have 4 graders. They'll have 3 Georgetown cadets and Kofer to grade the Claymore, and they have 10 minutes to complete those events. That's the execution of the weapons lane. Now we'll be going into the medical lane, which is led by Delgado, which is also known. Medical lane will be there'll be 5 individual lanes, and each lane will have 3 tasks. These tasks will be care under fire and moving the casualty out of the wood line. Out of the wood line, then they will go into control bleeding. After they control bleeding, they will request a medical evacuation outside the wood line in LZ Falcon, and that completes the third task for the medical lane. Any questions for EIB?
Next, I'll be moving to
Blackwell. Mendonça, my bad.
So at this point, we're already done with our EIB testing, the MS-30 simultaneous. I just want to point out that they're still continuing to do stick lanes as they keep rotating around. I think it was also mentioned that chow is going to happen around between 12 and 1300. So the same timeline applies to the MS-1s and 2s also. At 1300, or between 12 and 1300, MS-1s and 2s are going to be having chow. There's also going to be a resupply if needed. That is dependent on the OCTs for their respective platoons, whether it may be MS-3s that need any resupply or MS-1s and 2s that need any resupply. Everybody should be given a radio. Everybody will have a radio, radioed up to the talk. We have a couple personnel that will be spared away to give you guys anything that you guys request for within reason. All right, now I'll pass it off to Cadet Blackwell, who will talk about MS-1s and 2 stick lanes.
Thank you. All right, I'm Cadet Blackwell for the MS-1 and 2 sticks lanes. After lunch, we're going to divide them into 4 platoons of 3 squads each. Once we do that, we will move them to their stations. So we have an ambush station here. We have an attack station here led by Delgado. The ambush is McKee. And then we have the movement to contacts led by Cadet Campbell. And the 4th platoon is going to be divided up for Op 4. So the 4th platoon will be here in LZ Falcon, and then Lewis and her Op 4 MS4s are going to lead them to their respective locations. So if you see, like for the ambush lane along the road, we're gonna have 3 points. We have 3 points here for the attack, and then we also have 3 for the movement to contact. Since Delgado's not here, I'll brief attack. Essentially, this is the start point, and again, they're going to be attacking fire teams here, here, and here. Every station is going to have the same timeline, so they're all going to have a 30-minute planning period. They're going to have a 40-minute execution phase. They are then going to have 15 minutes for a hot wash / AAR, and then they are going to have 20 minutes to move to the next station. And upon conclusion of the movement to contact station, that's when they're going to move back to LZ Falcon for the Op 4 rotation. Now, for the different stations, the one that is going to have the most friction is going to be the ambush because it's taking place along the road. So please pay particular attention to McKee's lane while he's explaining it.
So after discussing with Lewis and Blackwell how best to go about the Op 4 section of the ambush lane, what we've decided on is that we will stage an Op 4 at this corner that will travel south to engage the 3rd lane. The second pair of Op 4 will start off at the most southerly position. They will move forward north towards the 1st lane. When the 2 pair of Op 4 take contact from the initial 1st lane squad, a pre-designated MS4 and those 2s will break contact with that 1st squad, run approximately 30 to 50 meters north, establish their patrol, and prepare to take contact from the 2nd lane. This mitigates any confusion of the 1s and 2s engaging the wrong Op 4, as well as it limits the number of personnel that need to know what's going on from a MS4 and a whole squad here to know not to engage the 1st patrol, as well as just limiting it to 1 MS4 to know to tell which MS2s when to break contact with that 1st initial engagement. Pending any questions on that, that's all I've got. Campbell.
I'm Cadet Campbell. I'll be in charge of the movement to contact. So here's our start point right here. And we will be going to our lane 1, 2, and 3. At the conclusion of each lane, we'll be going back to LZ Falcon to reconsolidate for the Op 4, since this is the last rotation in each one, and we'll keep rotating after that. Yeah.
So just to explain, so after the sticks lanes, we're going to be moving into patrol bases. So the ambush station is going to move to patrol base 1. The attack is going to move to patrol base 2. The movement to contact is closest to patrol base 4, so they'll be moving there. And then the Op 4 will be led by Cadet Lewis, will move to patrol base 3. And then as far as moving people from station to station, they will be guided by an MS4 to ensure that they do not get lost during the rotations. And that is
the same AOICs as the night previous.
Yes, sir. Yeah. McKee, Campbell, Lewis, and Delgado, sir. All right. Any questions? And next is Mendonça.
Actually, have Makehouse talk about the MS3 control
What?
base.
Okay. Makehouse.
Right.
All right.
So after our lanes with the MS3 lanes, Mink House will be ending up at attack and he'll be moving back to Patrol Base 1. I will be ending at the ambush and I will be at Patrol Base 2. And DeChoso will end at the movement to contact and he will go back to Patrol Base 3. We will have an evaluated patrol base doing all of priorities of work and making sure they occupy the patrol base. And then during the night, if we see fit, we will talk to the cadre and we might have a attack by the Op 4 for defense. And then I will hand it off to Print for the Op 4.
So with the night of 05 April, squads are going to move back to the Op 4 patrol base site that we originated the night before. What will happen is the AOICs for each of the Op 4 will be in contact with OCTs being Ridenauer, or all the patrol base, all the OCTs, yeah, Ridenauer, Makehouse, and Choso. They'll be in contact with them. If they're struggling, we're going to attack. If they're not, if they're doing good patrol base sites, then we won't attack them. But that can be both for 04 Friday night and 05 Saturday night. Once again, to reiterate, all the AOICs for each of these lanes will come back to the Op 4 at 1700 at the end of 05 April. And if we need to conduct attacks, probing attacks on the patrol base sites here, here, and here, the AOICs will be in contact with those OCTs. Any questions? I'll pass it off to Mendonça.
Okay, so morning of, during the ruck march, we will be truck personnel will be tearing all the non-essential equipment down. They'll be loading up the trailers. The MS3s will take the rubber ducks with them, so they'll sign it out when they go. So everyone will turn in their paintball guns. We'll get those put away. They have to be put away neatly. We're not worrying about cleaning weapons at this time. That'll happen during our recovery lab Thursday following FTX. And then the rubber ducks will be turned in as they complete the ruck march, and then they'll get loaded and separated by school. But all of the tear down non-essential equipment will happen during the ruck march by TOC personnel and people not passed out on the ruck. And that will lead to Mendonça.
Alright,
Yeah.
so during the ruck, as she had mentioned, that when we do break down, Macaulay, Todd, Mark Fowler, and Tucker are going to go to the MS1 and 2 lanes. Are you all four here? Alright, you guys are going to the MS1 and 2 lanes and ensure that that area is policed up and any equipment that is left over there is brought back to the top. Patrick, Makehouse, Choso, right now print up. You guys are going to go to the MS3 lanes because you guys are familiar with that area. You're going to clear out that area, make sure police call the area, and then anything that's left in that area, bring it back to the top. I will pass it up to Karen who will talk about the ruck plan.
Ruck taskings on Sunday morning are Delgado, Westover, Campbell, Maffo, and McKee. They're going to be at various checkpoints. I've got the assignments in the sync matrix. I don't have exactly where those locations are on the route. Georgetown's slide isn't too clear, but all you should know is move to the top. You'll find out where you're going. You'll be at checkpoint. Everyone else, stand by at the top for further instruction, and then back to S4/XO for gear return and recovery / gear return.
So once S4 is given the heads up that we're all good, we're going to have final formation. Everybody's going to get transported, or everybody's going to get, everybody's going to form up right here, right next to the top. We're going to march back down here, and Henry's going to go over the plan to come back.
Okay, so buses will arrive at 13:30, and the buses will depart at 1400. And as I said before, the bus manifest is mostly the same except for the insertion of the people who arrived late and the people who departed late. Those people were inserted onto the manifest as well. And then as far as the van rosters, there's an MS4 that's an AOIC for those, and so van 1 and 2 is completely full, and then van 3 has mostly the people who arrived late on that.
And the ones driving the vans are going to be Major Myers and Sergeant Harris. So I think you already sent it to them, but so they'll have a manifest for both the buses and the vans. You just need to be in communication with Major Myers, so you guys are both confirming that you have everything.
At this time, I will pass it off to that's
Like recovery when we get back to Mason. We have to unload the trailer before people are dismissed. It doesn't take the whole battalion, but as of right now, Mr. Abner is saying that unless cadre change it, we cannot dismiss the battalion until we have the trailer unloaded. That is because we have to set up a time between Monday and Wednesday, which I'll get that by the end of the day, for 5 cadets to help take all the seats out of the vans and put them in the trailer so the vans can get clean. Recovery extends to Thursday lab. We will need at least 20 people. That number could increase before then to help clean the weapons, the paintball guns, clean the masks, and possibly the rubber ducks if they're very dirty afterwards. That'll help with cleaning the annex after, because we're just going to pretty much unload everything from the trailer, and then on that Thursday we'll kind of clean things up, put things back to where they're supposed to. MS1 and 2 turn-in will have it at the last lab, which I believe is 02 may change of command, but that is such a change. But that is the recovery plan for back at Mason, pending all the questions that conclude the recovery plan.
Alright, so once we're done with that, we just have a final formation, all accountability, make sure that Howard, Georgetown, and George Mason, all cadets are reported and all cadre are notified. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, the platoons, they're going to be practicing stand too, right?
Yes,
For the 1s and 2s, they will definitely be doing stand two.
I saw a couple more hands.
When are we, MS3 is going to give back the feedback for their performance during the lanes? Like, when are we handing them the short
Speaking about the OCTs with the evaluation marks?
Yep.
That is after you get back to the LZ on Sunday morning.
Okay. So
During
prior to the ruck?
Yeah, prior to the ruck. That morning during
Okay. So we just,
approximately 08.
so I'm gonna adjust that a little bit. So once they get into the patrol bases Saturday night, that's the time where OCTs, and we're gonna have a couple additional ones. So as of right now, it's only gonna be one OCT grading each position at a time. So I'll expedite it. So the OCT is gonna go and grab the people that they evaluate that day one at a time, and then they're all due. If they have to move it to the next morning, they can. But before the road march steps off at 09, all the OCTs will have all their cars consolidated at the top and put into. We'll have 3 piles there, one for each school. So then a school rep can then pick up all the evaluations for their school. So by 09, prior to that step off, they will all be consolidated at the top. So you have Saturday night patrol base and Sunday morning prior to the road march to complete that.
And just to be clear, you're talking about like the more formal feedback of the SOAR cards.
Yes.
Because ultimately, after each mission, you're going to do an AAR. And then following that AAR,